Just press record. I got shit to do.
Okay, well, we can't swear.
Just press record. I've got bleep to do.
Which that's different.
It sounds dirty.
That is different. I don't have a ring light, but I'm out of the closet.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Because it's just literally I'm out of the closet. I thought I would help my lighting rather than being in my dark. It's funny because I have skull wallpaper in my closet, which means I literally have skeletons in my closet.
That's sort of funny.
It's hilarious.
That's funny for the My Kind of Sweet crowd. It's not funny for my crowd. But for all of you listeners who are looking for another podcast, check out First Ascent Podcast every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, SpawnCon. Let's just settle that down.
You can also follow me at jknower
on
Instagram.
This? What is at Instagram.com.
Yeah, and JC Knower on Twitter.
You put your middle initial in your Twitter?
Well, JAYKNOWER was taken.
It was?
Which I'd like to meet that person.
I bet it's
give him a piece of my mind. So it was the letter JCKNOWER in Twitter.
Oh, that's your Twitter?
That's my Twitter handle.
Wait, why are we talking about this? No one cares.
You can also find me on Facebook at jknower.
Oh my God. Also, his LinkedIn and his MySpace.
I may have a LinkedIn page.
Do you have MySpace?
No, I never had MySpace.
Man, I got into MySpace. That was my
into your space?
Yeah, that was my kind of deal. Because you could set music to your profile.
And you can also find me on Truth Social at...
Wait, no. You've really gone right. All right. Well, we're here. And now that Jay's done with the self-promotion, God.
I've also written a book.
Okay.
Which you could find at any retailer.
That's not true.
At any place that sells climbing books.
Okay. All right. On this day, and what year? Give me a 90s year.
Last week I said 1990, so I'm going to bump it up and say 1991.
Oh, okay. On this day, in September 30th, 1991, what happened? This is live. I'm doing this. All right. Ooh, the Jerry Springer show debuts on TV. Jerry. Yeah, that's
but nobody
was.
When they were fighting, they weren't chanting Jerry. They were chanting like fight, fight.
No. They would chant Jerry. You've never watched it. You've never seen one episode of Jerry Springer.
I've not seen. I understand its cultural milieu, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, no, they would chant. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of them, but I might have caught one or two. And they would chant, yeah, right. Jerry.
Like before Jerry comes out, like the Arsenio Hall thing?
Yeah, like, ooh. That should be our Fibro Nostalgia.
That actually was.
It was?
No.
I thought you meant we already did that. We already covered Arsenio. Okay, well, that was a good one. I like that, the Jerry Springer one, rather than like all of this like death and war.
Oh, yeah, because Jerry Springer is so great. Well, was that the first reality show that was like conflict was the point?
Yeah, I mean, you had him, you had Maury Povich, but did Jerry Springer come first? Maury was more about like, are you the father? He did a lot of those.
Well, didn't Jerry do the same thing?
Yeah, Maury, I guess so.
Maury.
Yeah, Maury didn't have the Maury Povich show is called Maury. It got a 4 out of 10 on IMDb. Oh, yeah. So that debuted in 1991.
Maury did too?
Yes. So same.
On this day?
I don't know. But Maury lasted, the final episode of Maury was September 8th, 2022. I mean,
wait.
That's a long time.
2 weeks ago?
That's a lot of DNA tests. Yeah.
Maury just ended?
Just ended. And Jerry Springer ended a long time ago because he was like political. He's a political guy.
Now that Maury Povich isn't on TV anymore, maybe he'd come on our podcast.
Is he alive? He is, right? He must be, unless he just died.
If he is, then if he is in the living, then we would love to
living.
We would love to have him on the pod.
Okay, let's put it out there.
You believe in mediums, don't you?
For sure. I mean, I like, generally I'm more of like an extra small.
A venti. You believe in ventis, don't you?
I do believe in ventis. I do.
No, but you're all like...
Yeah, for sure.
Spiritual.
I am all spiritual. See my evil eye?
No.
That's an evil eye necklace right there. That's what that is.
Wait, you have a tattoo of faith.
I
the
do.
George Michael song on your wrist.
Because you gotta have faith.
You gotta have faith.
Yeah, I think especially after Dad died, like I still haven't gone to see a medium. I always take a beat and I'm like, is it median or medium?
Median is the
thing
like
in
if you
the
have
road.
a whole bunch of mediums that you line up, then the one in the middle of the line is the medium.
Okay, but that's the dorky way to take it. I think of median as the thing in the road.
If a medium is in the middle of the road, it is the medium.
The medium. That's dork humor for you right there.
I prefer average.
We know. We know you do.
Wow. I walked right into that one.
Okay, fibro nostalgia. Okay, and first, I meant to say this at the top of the show. If you guys are liking the show, can you please go rate it? Rate it.
Also,
all
go to
of the
Instagram
stars.
at JAYK.
No.
Brand new information.
Yeah. God, you can't even help yourself.
Our most recent review is from like a month ago.
Yes. I think she liked us. I mean, we get 5 stars. We average 5 stars, which is great.
We average 5 stars, but we could use more ratings. We
want more ratings so that more people find us because, this is it's a really useful podcast that makes lives better.
And it's like really hard work. Like imagine if you had to talk to your sister once a week and you recorded it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
I decided before this podcast that I was going to bring the heat today.
I see. I feel it and I don't love it.
Okay. I just came up with my fibro nostalgia for today.
Oh God, is it feel the heat?
No.
Okay.
It's okay. This is my thought process. I was
God.
the movie Heat. But then I was like, I don't really want to talk about that much. But then I was like, what are other movies that have one word verbs as a title? And it's Speed.
Speed. Yeah. That's where I went too. That's a good one. This is funny because mine's a movie too. Why do we're always on the same page?
We're on the same page.
Our cycles are syncing. Ew. Ew.
But that was Sandra Bullock's first movie or first big movie.
Sandra Bullock.
And I'm still a big fan. I'm
of Sandra Bullock?
Fan of Sandra Bullock in Speed.
I love Keanu Reeves. He became like a joke, but now
he's not a joke.
But now he's back to not being a joke. Also, I think his girlfriend is like 70 years old.
Helen Mirren.
No. Or is it his wife?
Doesn't he give a lot of money to charity?
Yeah, I think he's a really good guy.
Pop quiz hot shot.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly what button did you push, Bob?
What year was that movie?
Well, this is your fibro nostalgia, but sure, I'll do yours.
Just can't. I had a different one, which was really dark, but like I.
What was it now?
Well, should I have two?
Oh, Speed was in 1994.
I have a really dark one for fibro nostalgia. Okay, I'll do two this week.
Okay.
The Bone Breaker Killer.
No, okay, no, we're gonna cut this because this is what I'm gonna talk about.
Wait, that's your fibro nostalgia?
No, it's not my fibro nostalgia. It's my.
Oh, it's your thing.
It's my subject with the Jeffrey Dahmer movie.
Okay, cut it.
Cut it.
Okay, I don't have any other fibro nostalgias.
No one ever said you did. You don't have to say no. You don't. We just cut it. You don't have to reference what we cut.
Yeah, no, that's my only one for today.
Why would you think I have another?
I do have another.
No.
I do have another. I do.
Okay, what?
In the 90s, Suzanne and I were in Baraboo, Wisconsin, and we went into Walmart, and the greeter in Walmart said to us as we're walking in to get something for like mom or something, like a present or something. I don't know why we were at Walmart together, because this was like we were in high school, and like why would I be hanging out with my little sister? But like
I hung out with you guys a lot, by the way.
We went
Your friends
into Walmart.
Really liked me.
We went into Walmart, and the greeter, this nice, sweet old lady, the one who hands you a cart, said, "Hi, I'll be here in case anything should happen." I'll be here in case anything should happen. And we were
they
like,
gave us the cart. And
then
we were like,
us the cart.
And then we were like, did she just threaten us?
Like, what's going to happen? What does she know that we don't?
What is she? Also, what is she going to do if something happens? Like, is she going to protect us? Like, what would she be able to do?
I mean,
she was like 80. We're like, thanks. Like, what would you offer?
We looked at each other like, what?
And so now we say that all the time.
I'll be here if anything should happen.
Oh my God. And like, I just can't imagine if anything happens in Walmart, we wouldn't go back to the greeter.
Well, but she said,
but even if like we needed
even if
something,
she said like, even if, but she opened up the possibility by saying that she'll be there. And if we're like, oh, something's happening, I might have remembered, oh, the greeter will be there in this event. She was something happening.
She was our touchstone. She was our Walmart touchstone. She
kind of is my touchstone.
Yeah. I think about her. When the world seems hard and it's falling apart, she does offer comfort.
She offers the potential for future comfort.
Also the potential for future disaster.
Right.
So it's weird. Okay, my fibro nostalgia. Also, if you're new, I feel like we need to constantly say what this is. So fibro nostalgia.
Hundreds of people suffer every year.
That's right.
There are dozens of us.
It's an affliction.
Dozens.
That Jay and I, tens of people suffer from fibro nostalgia every year. It's just us talking about things that we love from the 90s and that we miss. So
but it's like kind of like a pain.
Yeah, like it's like a hurt so good.
Like John Cougar.
Yeah, John Mancow.
No, I was about to say Mellencamp, but like he was John Cougar in the 90s.
No,
80s.
he was John Cougar Mellencamp.
Well, he was Cougar, and then he hyphenated. He he married his former self and hyphenated it.
Yeah, and then he dropped the Cougs, and then he's just Mellencamp. Okay. Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Didn't he die?
Didn't he die? That was if one movie could just sum up my self and my humor and everything, that informed so much of who I am. The fashions.
I really feel strongly about it. Mic. That informs so much of who I am.
I really feel strongly about it. That movie was so good, and I was researching it. It came out in 97. Also, and I was like, surely because it's a cult classic now, but actually on Rotten Tomatoes, it gets 74%. So it did well, and it was even critically acclaimed when it came out, which is so funny because it's really campy, but it's like camp in the best way. It's Lisa Kudrow, Mira Sorvino, Janine Garofalo. Oh my God, it's so funny. And
was there a law that I wasn't aware of that Janine Garofalo had to be in every 90s movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
And Mad About You. She was Mabel. She
wasn't.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, she was the grown-up Mabel. She wasn't the kid Mabel.
No, in the last episode. She was the one who narrated it. She was Mabel.
Right.
Anyway, Romeo and Michelle's.
What was
Alan
the premise?
Cumming. What is the premise? The premise, two best friends were going to their high school reunion, but they felt like that they hadn't like achieved anything because they kind of hadn't. And so then on their way to the high school reunion, they decide that they're going to say that they invented Post-its. Because they're like, yeah, everyone knows Post-its, but no one knows who invented them. And so then that's their story going in. But then they get into a fight about their story, about how they're going to do it. They get into a fight right when they get to the reunion. So then they go their separate ways at the reunion. And so they're like fighting. It's so funny. And then you see all of like the popular girls and stuff. And then there's like the cool girl who then says that no, Romeo and Michelle are actually like, look at their fashions. They're actually cool. There's a choreographed dance with Sandy Fink. Is it Sandy Fink or Sandy Finkel? Who is Alan Cumming. And he turns out to be like a billionaire, and then they make up and then they go, it's so good. It's so good.
So did they invent Post-its?
No, they didn't. Spoiler.
Where can one watch that? Because I might watch it because I don't think I'm gonna watch it too.
Let's see where to stream. It is currently not on Netflix. Amazon Video.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just thinking because when I was researching it this morning, I was like, oh, that's one that my girls are going to watch. We're going to watch that next.
You got to watch Speed and then that.
And then Better Off Dead?
Yes, but that's from the 80s.
Oh,
that's from the 80s. Yeah, I was going to use that, but I actually Googled, I think it's 88.
Okay.
But Suzanne, we watched that so many times as a kid, but like we don't remember that we watched it. So I was watching it and I was like, oh, this thing will happen next. There'll be a claymation hamburger. And then there was a claymation hamburger.
You just had the sense.
It was like in my like
DNA.
Deep long-term. It was like in my brain stem was like Better Off Dead.
That's so funny.
It's
and
so
John
good.
Cusack. I need to watch
John Cusack. He's a skier, but it's not really about that.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Because when you said Better Off Dead, it was like, is that a skier?
Yeah, but it's not.
No, but I don't even remember anything about it. And then you were texting me.
You will watch it and you will remember it. But you don't remember it now, but you will remember it while you're watching it.
Okay. I'm into it.
It's accessing like deep long-term memory.
Okay.
You might need therapy after you watch it.
Okay. Well, speaking of needing therapy after watching something, are you going to go first or should I?
Yeah, I'll go first because mine's not a big thing.
Okay.
I mean, it is a big thing, but I think I know what you're going to talk about. So,
Okay.
We've talked a lot about Dobbs.
Yeah.
Suzanne, what's Dobbs?
Dobbs is the decision to take Roe versus Wade take abortion to the states. Let the states decide.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's
a horrible decision, but I'm glad I got it right.
That has turned out to be wildly, wildly unpopular. And
yes.
What's really interesting is that it's moving the needle in the congressional races. So I was just kind of in my free time, I like to look at polling data on.
Oh my God. What? Okay.
What?
That's just, it's sad.
I'm very concerned about the medium.
I can tell.
I look at polling data, and I was looking at FiveThirtyEight, and they've got a good polling average aggregator. So they aggregate all the polls into a polling average, and then they have like predictions that are based on fundamentals and things, but they also have cool charts, which we will link this one in the show notes. It's well, you can look at all different kinds of questions. How popular is Joe Biden? Do Americans approve or disapprove of Kamala Harris?
Wait, what are the answers to those?
Let me look here.
Is Joe Biden any more popular than he was before?
His polling average is 52.6% disapprove, 42.3% approve as of today.
So not great.
Not great. Kamala Harris. Do Americans approve or disapprove of Kamala Harris? She's 48% disapproval, 37% approval.
Well,
but it's trending. It's pretty stable. But the thing that I'm interested in is the ballot test, which the ballot test is something that politicos know as a metric that you follow, which is, do people generally prefer Republicans or Democrats for the next election, mostly in Congress. And it's a great predictor as to who's going to take Congress in the next election. Now, it's been widely understood that the Democrats are going to lose definitely the House, probably the Senate, because those are the structural factors of where we are in the cycle.
Okay. Right, because of the correction, the party in power loses generally, right?
Right. However, if I'm looking at this chart, and it was pretty stable. Republicans were +2 on the ballot test, meaning 44% preferred Republicans, 42% preferred Democrats. But then right around end of June, beginning of July, there's a movement where the Democrats and Republicans, the two lines start to converge. And the Dobbs decision came out on June 24th. So that's what moved the polling average now from Republicans to Democrats. And they meet on August 8th. So they're basically tied on August 8th. So starting the beginning of July to the beginning of August, the Republicans and Democrats close, the Democrats close the gap. And then the Democrats start to move past the Republicans. And right now, Democrats are +1.3 on the polling average.
Wow.
So you can actually see in the data that the Dobbs decision is moving voters away from the Republicans to the Democrats.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's not surprising, but it's cool to see that it's actually, because you would think that's from all the backlash that you hear and see on the internet in your real life. like, that's not surprising, but it's good that it's actually being reflected in the polls.
Yeah. And all of this, I mean, all things being equal, it'd be better if that didn't occur. I mean, the Dobbs decision didn't occur.
Yeah.
And Roe was upheld. But like I tell Mom is, it's a Jurassic Park quote. Life finds a way. Like,
that's a Jurassic Park quote?
Yeah, that's what Jeff Goldblum says in Jurassic Park about, I think all the dinosaurs are female on the island. And his whole thing is like, life finds a way. There will be more dinosaurs. It just happens.
Although there isn't more dinosaurs. Like now. Life did not find a way for the dinosaurs.
I mean, on the Jurassic Park island, it did.
Okay.
In that
the movie?
scenario.
Okay.
Yeah, in the movie.
Okay.
So that's what I say. It's like life finds a way. So when unpopular situations occur, there are results that make them damaging for the people who do them. So, I mean, if you ask any like sane Republican, would you rather have Roe versus Wade overturned, or would you rather lose the House and the Senate in a cycle when you were likely to win both? And I think that'd be a tough answer for that person to give, because there's a negative reaction to the Supreme Court overruling Dobbs, and people make their voices heard. And if our institutions aren't going to listen to the popular will, then there will be other consequences. And as I like to say, life finds a way. Or in this case, choice finds a way.
Yes. Right. Well, yeah. Yeah, I understand where Mom comes from, because it's fear, right? And so when we heard this decision, even with the leak, when it was leaked, was it leaked in June? Is that when the polls started moving? With the leak?
No.
Or, okay.
In fact, they didn't. They started moving after June 24th, which was the decision.
Okay.
The leak was like in May or.
Okay.
I don't remember.
That's interesting. So people were like, yeah, sure, it's leaked, but it probably won't happen. And then when it happens,
and they're like, screw you, Republicans, like.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, I think we just all are freaking out. Rightly so, because that's a right that's been taken away. It's also interesting how, like, Lindsey Graham is doubling down.
That I don't understand at all.
That doesn't make sense.
This data would suggest that that's a horrible idea.
Which, I mean, it is Lindsey Graham, so it's not like he makes great decisions. But
yeah, well, so to our listeners who don't know, Lindsey Graham had a press conference saying that they're going to take up the what was it? The bill that was making abortion illegal nationally from a legislative side, and that they would do that as soon as they won the House and the Senate. And it was stupid. Like, if I were a strategist advising Republicans, and I mean, I do have free time, so if any Republicans are interested in strategy,
you want to do that?
Instagram is jknower at.
Oh my gosh. I like how you say my Instagram is jknower at
Instagram.com. Hashtag. Yeah, I would advise Republicans not even to say anything about any of this. Anytime you say anything about this is negative for you. Unless you're like a very red district. But like, this is a negative issue for you. This is the dog that caught the car, and like, the dog is not happy that he caught the car. And
yeah.
But kind of my whole point in this whole thing is like, what if we apply this to other things? So, and I want to be very careful how I word this, because I don't want to undercut the severity of Dobbs and how bad it was. But so many people were saying, make sure to do this so that Roe doesn't get overturned. Make sure to do this, because if Roe gets overturned, it's a horrible thing. And it is. Dobbs is a horrible thing, taking rights away from women. However, it's getting corrected in the system elsewhere. And what if we apply that to other things? Like mom's big worry about
democracy.
The Republicans, taking away democracy. And I keep saying life finds a way. If they're going to go into this very anti-democratic space, then voters will find a way. And the public's view is almost always heard. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I don't want to oversell this because it could sound like I'm saying that Dobbs wasn't a big deal, but it very much is. But it's changing things.
Yeah, because public sentiment is now being heard. That's if the polls are right? Like, I can we trust the polls? That's like a whole other episode.
You're like the student in the freshman philosophy class where they're like, do computers think? Like, that's the question in front of the class. And then you raise your hand and you're like, how do I even know that I'm in this class to begin with?
Yeah.
How do I even know
that we all exist?
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Suzanne.
That was me in my French philosophy class. Because I
took French philosophy class.
I took all of my classes in French. God. How do you know me?
No.
Do you even know me? Have we met? Last week you didn't know I played volleyball in high school. This week you didn't know that I majored in French, which meant all of my classes were in French.
Yeah, but you didn't take French philosophy.
Yes, I did. I 1000% did. Oh, okay. You're like, okay.
I thought it was just like French grammar, and then you did English philosophy.
No, French grammar, no, I took French history, art, philosophy. All of my classes were just in French.
Did you take American history in French?
Yes.
So like the French majors were like in a completely different school that basically just spoke French for every class. You took stats in French?
Not math, but every other subject was in French. How do you not, like, what? Do you think I just studied the French language?
Yeah, I thought that's what French majors did. I'm an English major.
Use the French.
I did take all of my classes in English.
Yeah, you use the French language, like by studying French art. Most of like history was French history, but then you would still learn about other histories, but it was just all in French.
So if I'm an English major taking French, wouldn't I take French in English?
Oh my God. It's got to be your ball. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, just watch the space, right? I think that as we've spoken before, the Democrats' chances have really gone up, and you can see in the data that the entire like firmament of our political cycle changed with the Dobbs decision, and you're starting to see it in the data now too. So it could win the Democrats the House and Senate again.
Wow. I mean, let's hope, because that decision is bullshit.
And life finds a way.
I feel like you need to workshop that when you talk about this Dobbs decision.
Well, in the sense of dinosaurs.
Which they did, because they're extinct. It's falling apart pretty rapidly.
So anyway, your topic.
All right. We need to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Do we know?
Apparently we do, because Netflix has a new series.
Oh, I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I shut it off because I got scared.
Okay, and I haven't watched it yet because you told me that, and I'm scared to watch it.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like
nothing happened, and it was like dark lights and like tones.
Yes.
You know?
Because it's Ryan Murphy, so it's like American Horror Story and all the, like, he knows how to do creepy. And Evan
tones.
Peters is getting like rave reviews.
Who's Evan Peters?
He's the one who plays Jeffrey Dahmer. So what did you think? The 5 minutes, it was too scary?
It was like dark hues and like tones. And like tones get me, where it's like
like like musical tones.
Yeah.
Like one trumpet.
No, it's not a trumpet. It's not like
what was it, like a
like jazz tones? I'm terrified of jazz.
Jazz is scary. I don't like jazz.
Jazz is scary.
It is. It's creepy.
Just like a piano, like.
Okay.
I'm like, ah!
Oh yeah, that's creepy. I feel like it's a daytime show. Like you have to watch it in the day. Maybe
like right after Jerry Springer and Maury Povich, then turn on some
and then
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey. Oh God. Okay, so it's the number one show on Netflix right now, and there is some backlash from the families of the victims. They weren't contacted about this movie, and so they're being re-traumatized. Like I can't even imagine that. Like that is so messed up. Like just at least give them. They don't even. I mean, they should get a cut probably, but even if you're not going to do that, can you just like send them an email? Send them just a heads up.
Like, what does that email say? Like, you send them a note. Hey, doing a movie about the worst thing of your life. Toodaloo.
Yeah, love Netflix. I mean, I think, yeah, just give them a heads up. Get them on a call and just be like, just so you know, this is what we're working on. And a lot of them are portrayed in the movie, like in the court scenes and stuff, like the victims' families are portrayed. So they're watching them on this show. It seems like that's legally you would have to at least alert them. Anyway, I thought we would talk about our connection to Jeffrey Dahmer. That's not right because we weren't connected to him, but we're from Wisconsin. And so all of his murders, he lived in Milwaukee. And he found all of these guys, generally black guys, because he knew that they wouldn't be, the public wouldn't be alerted. He would have more time to do what he wanted to do. But yeah, so he was in Milwaukee, and then actually he was incarcerated in Columbia County Prison, which was about 10 miles from our house, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, while we were growing up,
like we've driven by it.
Yeah, while we were growing up,
yeah,
Jeffrey Dahmer was just 10 miles away.
Yeah.
All the time. And we knew it.
Yeah,
That's where he died.
Well, Wisconsin has a long history of serial killers. Ed Gein was from Wisconsin.
Yeah, was he from Plainfield?
I think so. Which isn't that near Portage?
Yeah, I think it's just north of Portage where Jeffrey Dahmer was. That's where our mom works, or worked. You guys, it's what? No? Wait, why'd you shake your head?
So, yeah, he was incarcerated in Columbia County, and then he died there, right? Like, didn't he?
Yeah, he died by. Yeah, didn't he get a broomstick up the? I think he got a broomstick up the tush.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's in the. Yeah, it says homicide by bludgeoning, severe skull and brain trauma. So apparently it wasn't just that, but I'm pretty sure that was a part of it. Which good, okay. We also wanted to talk about this is the true crime episode. of brand new information. Right. So we had Jeffrey Dahmer in Wisconsin. We had Ed Gein. We also, you guys, Jay and I went to elementary school, junior high. Did he make it to high school? High school.
Yeah, high school.
With a serial killer. And this elementary school was teeny tiny. It was called Fairfield in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, the plains of rural Wisconsin.
And there was 30 people in our class.
Oh, not even. Not even.
20.
15, 20.
Yeah, 15, 20.
Joe Clark was in my class, and he eventually became known as the Bone Breaker Killer, right? Bone Breaker Killer?
Yeah, he was the Bone Breaker Killer. His name was Joe Clark. He was in Jay's class, one of 15 or 20 classmates. We rode the bus with him every single day. Yeah. Jay, you remember him from elementary school. I remember him just from the bus.
I do. I can picture him perfectly right now. I remember him, and it turns out that he got caught. And I don't know, Suzanne, if you want to go into how he got caught. Yeah.
And so, Joe Clark then went on to kill someone in my class. His name was Chris Steiner. And that was in 1993? I think he was 17. No, that was in 1994. So Chris Steiner. So yeah, we were 14. In July 1994. So Joe Clark kind of just took him from his bedroom and murdered him. And it later came out that Joe Clark liked the sounds of bones breaking. And that's why he's called the Bone Breaker Killer. A year later then, and I remember when this happened, Chris Steiner was in my grade. We were now in junior high. And yeah, it was all very scary, and no one connected Joe Clark to it at that point. 1 year later, then Joe Clark he lured out Thad Phillips, who was 13. And then actually Thad escaped, and that's how Joe was caught.
And okay, so Thad escaped, Joe was caught. Did you have the date for that? I think it was 96, 97.
It was in 95. So in 1995, on July 29th, he took Thad Phillips.
Well, so the reason I remember this is because I think it was 96 when... So I graduated in 96, and then I went to college, and I was a runner, so I went to college early so that we could start our cross-country season. And I was a new college student, just kind of freaked out about college. I was in the dorms by myself because nobody else was there yet. And I was just sort of it was a big transition, from high school to college. And I was, sad and lonely. And then I get a call from just on some random day, I get a call from a Sauk County detective asking if I knew Joe Clark. And I told him, yes, I went to school with him. I never hung out with him. And the detective said, well, we apprehended him and we found a list, and your name was one of the names on the list.
Oof.
And I was like, what number was I? And he's like, I can't divulge that information. So I don't know what number I was on the list.
They also asked you if you were missing any socks.
Yeah, they asked me if I was missing any socks. And I was like, that's a really weird question. I'm a college student. I don't know where any of my stuff is to begin with. And, but so I was like, oh man, I'm going to college. I'm all alone. It's a big transition, and I'm on a death list. Oh
my God.
And I never heard from the detective again. I know that Joe was charged and convicted and serving multiple life sentences. But yeah, I have the distinction of having been on a death list. I still don't know the number. I think there were Suzanne, 29 names on the list?
No, I'm just looking at it here. So in the house,
wait, you're looking at the list?
No, not the list. Yeah, Jay, I brought you here today to tell you that you were number 3.
Well, there's a big difference between 3 and 29.
There
right?
was
Because
only, there wasn't,
he did 2.
there wasn't that many. So it says in the house, police located a school notebook which listed names of over a dozen local boys.
So what is over a dozen?
Yeah.
Like that's less than 20, right?
Yeah, I would think. The boys' names were in different columns detailing whether or not Clark could kidnap them soon or later and what he wanted to do to them. Part of the list included a column titled The Leg Thing, suggesting he intended to mangle his future victims with the same methods used on both Chris Steiner and Thad Phillips. So the leg thing was when he would twist their legs until he heard them break. Jay, how are you doing right now? Mental health check-in. You're kind of I mean, that is terrifying. You were which we've talked about before. You were a star runner in high school. So the idea, I mean, your legs were pretty valuable. So like, it's kind of not surprising you were on the list. Also, you knew him. We knew him our whole childhood.
Yeah, but I remember going to grade school with him, and I mean, our grade school was like till 6th grade, and then we went to junior high in 7th grade. So I remember being around him in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, kind of. I mean, as much as you can remember that kind of stuff, but I don't really remember him from junior high or high school. I think it just kind of went my separate ways. I don't know if I had any interaction with him after grade school. So
yeah,
I mean,
that is kind of the creepy, this idea of he was like on the fringes because he was
very much on the fringes. Yeah. Which is sad. I mean, I think there's a socioeconomic component to it. It's sad that he was on the fringes and he wasn't brought in, but, and the defense was something about he had a bike accident or something and has mental health issues because of the bike accident. And he did have a bad upbringing. I mean, I wouldn't have thought or known of any of this as a grade schooler, I mean, he was just the guy in the class with me. But
yeah, it's not like he was necessarily violent in grade school.
No, I don't have any recollection of that. He's just a guy I went to school with, and turned out I was on his death list.
I mean, and so Jay and I just started talking about this. I mean, we've obviously talked about it throughout the years and like, how crazy was that? But now with this rise of true crime, we were like, I wonder like if anyone's covered it. Oh, everyone has covered it. And we didn't even know he was called the Bone Breaker Killer. Like he's got a thing. And like this is just a really weird first degree moment of holy bleep.
I still want to know what number I was.
I know. Well, maybe.
And I'm not. Is it better to be higher up or is it better to be lower down? Right?
No, it's better to be like number 12. Why, like your ego wanted you to be higher up? Oh, God. You're like, really? That's it?
Well, and I've always kind of looked at this as sort of just a weird thing that I had. Like it was hard to hear when I was a freshman in college, but it's never been a thing. It's just been this sort of, unique thing about our childhood. And another unique, dark thing about our childhood. And I mean, I think if I was in high school and Joe Clark, whom I hadn't seen since grade school, was like, "Hey, let's go hang out," I'd be like, why? I would be skeptical. And I mean, I don't think he would lure me anywhere. I think I would be skeptical enough for that.
Yeah, I don't think it was an accident that like Chris Steiner was 2 years younger than him. Thad Phillips was even younger. Like these are 13, 14-year-old boys. And Joe Clark was a big guy too. And these boys weren't that big at the time. Yeah. So, I mean, this went dark. But maybe we'll get Joe Clark on here and ask him what number you were.
I mean, I would like to know. I would like to know what number I was.
You would? I wonder
would.
if you would remember.
Somebody somewhere, if that's evidence, somebody somewhere has that list.
Yeah.
Right? Well, like Sauk County would have it, or like there's
or is it Columbia County? Well, he's in he's
Columbia.
at Portage, right?
Which is the same.
Is he?
Yes, he's
is
in
that
Portage.
Where he is?
It's the same prison with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yes, it all comes full circle.
God.
Okay, maybe now I kind of want to know too, guys. If anyone has a connection to Columbia County, in what's it called? Columbia County Correctional Institution.
Yeah,
but he's in there for the rest of his life, right?
I hope.
Oh wait. You got really nervous. No, he is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ooh, creepy.
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like, I'm trying to remember fifth grade. I trying to remember what precipitated this, and
I think it was just a fact of you being you were always like, talked about and written about, and like you were doing stuff.
I wasn't I?
As hard as it is for me to acknowledge that. And then like we said, he was on the fringes and he was just not a part of that, which is really sad. I mean, that definitely doesn't mean that you have to go kill people. But it's sad.
And it's kind of the underbelly of what would outwardly look like a really idyllic, rural community. And, there's some really scary stuff that goes on underneath. Yeah.
That's why, all the, I'm not afraid of cities, but small towns like that creep me out. Small towns like the one we grew up in. Yeah.
All right. Well.
Okay.
I think we covered it all from
politics to Romeo and Michelle, pop
Romeo
culture.
and Michelle. We got politics in there. We got
Keanu Reeves.
Speed, and the serial killer we grew up with. So
there you go.
That's what you get at Brand New Information. Make sure to follow us and like us and share us with your friends.
And let us know if you grew up with a serial killer in the comments.
And here's the deal: if I don't continually get positive reinforcement, I won't do this anymore.
That was a threat. That's a threat, you guys. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, tell Jay how good he is. Okay, love Moo.
Love Moo. Bye.
Bye.